After a swift and delightful flight by Air France, a unique sight stretches before your eyes. You're landing in Casablanca. Here, less than 50 years ago, stood a small white town called Dar el Beida. Today, Casablanca, which in Spanish means White House, is one of Africa's major ports on the South Atlantic. Its docks, like outstretched fingers, stand out against handsome skyscrapers. Today's traveler will enjoy the ultra-modern style of Casablanca's sumptuous palace hotels. But now you will leave the El Mansour Hotel and journey southward. You'll explore Mogador and stroll along the massive ramparts built by the Portuguese against the onslaughts of the ocean. You'll drive down a wide and well-constructed road to the little village of Inezgan. This is where you'll see your first Moroccan market, so characteristic of life in this part of the world. The atmosphere of the souks, the warm scent of spices, oil, and ripe fruits. This is where the villagers and shepherds come to see the sights, exchange local news, and perhaps do a little business on the side. What counts most in Inezgan is to listen, to observe, to gather useful information, to discuss. Selling or buying is hardly considered a matter of life or death here. Before you journey further to the south, you'll visit the Anti-Atlas Mountains, broken by strange, picturesque valleys. Nestling among them is Tafraout, a small village banded with greenery. Now, on to Goulimine. Goulimine, on the edge of the desert, is something of a caravanserai for the Blue Men, a strange tribe of nomads who wear fantastic costumes. You'll have the privilege of watching their extraordinary dance, the Gedra. At Ouarzazate, far to the south, you'll stay in one of the comfortable hotels which the Moroccan Tourist Office has built on the edge of the Sahara. Desert trekking these days has lost its discomforts. Your room will have its own bath, and you'll find the fare is fit for a king. See there, running towards the horizon, the green ribbon of palm groves on either bank of the wadi, and beyond them, the first houses of the Kasbah. Inside the Kasbah, a lacy pattern of narrow alleys, a labyrinth of twisting paths. The sun beats down on the winding streets where life has remained unchanged since the days of the Arabian Nights. The grain from the previous harvest is being flayed. Watch the women walking down to the wadi to fetch water. Their gestures seem like the traditional movements of a dance. This little stream is the Dades. It flows between the wild hills, escorted by rows of palms. On either side, a green impressionist carpet, enameled by the red stains of the Kasbah. This is Bulman. And this is Tangier, with a population of nearly 2,000 inhabitants. Tangier is a strategic place. It controls the entrance to the Todra Gorges. Wild and impressive, like deep saber cuts slashing through the plateau, these gorges are so narrow that despite the blinding sun, the temperature in their depths never rises above 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The sorcery of Morocco's deep south. With only a mist of water, plants burst from the parched soil. The romantic oasis of Tafilalet. Exotic Marrakech is the capital of southern Morocco, protected by high ramparts, witnesses of its ancient splendor. This is the Koutoubia, whose foundations were laid by Abd el-Mumen. And here are the tombs of the Saadian sheriffs. They spangled this city with splendid buildings, with facades with the finest Carrara marble. As legend has it, the Arabs paid for this marble pound for pound in sugar. All around us lie the tangled ways of the Medina. Visit the extraordinary souk of the dyers. The skeins of wool are drying in the sun, trimming the low-slung houses with bright fringes. At nightfall, you'll stroll over to the square of Jema el Fna. Now that your tour of Marrakech is over, you'll journey comfortably to the other end of Morocco by Royal Air Morocco, an interior airline which also serves international routes. You've certainly deserved a few hours of relaxation. Our rendezvous is at Fedala for holidays beneath the brilliant blue sky. After a few games in the casino, off to the golf links. This is a difficult course, rich in unexpected surprises. We'll make it in record time and reward ourselves with a lazy afternoon on the beach. It's 3 miles long and the sand is soft and lovely for loafing. But perhaps you prefer a more exciting form of water sports. You can practice your skill with a sail. There's a brisk wind. You'll be in form for the regatta. You've had a full day. Why not give it a grand finish in a luxurious new swimming pool such as this one, magnificently situated at the mouth of the Boudegreb in the enchanted garden of the Ouadayas at Rabat. Look at the massive gateway breaking the line of the crenellated wall with watchtowers. It enclosed the old 12th century Kasbah founded by the Almohades. Peaceful and charming with its tinkling fountains, its alleys and its terraced flower beds, this garden is a garland of many-colored blossoms. From February to July, it is the home of thousands of storks who have flown there from Europe. Nearby is the Hassan Tower, unfinished twin of the Koutoubia at Marrakech and the Giralda at Seville. Here is the Cella with its mosque and minaret, once the site of a Roman city. Plan your holidays so that you can spend Friday in Rabat to attend the traditional ceremonial of the Holy Prayer. At the end of the morning, the soldiers of the Royal Guard leave their barracks for the palace. The crowd has been waiting patiently, assembled in the square for hours. The weather is warm, very warm. The humble water cellar is everybody's best friend. Now Morocco's sovereign, King Mohammed V, leaves the palace on his way to the mosque, escorted by his guards. The magnificent carriage reminds us of the one used by the royal family of England. This colorful spectacle adds the last touch of pleasure to make your visit to Rabat a memorable one. You'll stop for just a few minutes in Meknes, but stop you will to see the magnificent Bab el Mansour gateway built by Emperor Boulay Ismail, 18th century contemporary of Louis XIV. Fez is now the cynosure of all our eyes. Fez, made famous by poets and travelers, home of the ancient Arab arts of mathematics and science. The monumental arch of the Medersa Tarin opens onto a setting worthy of the Arabian Nights, an exotic and extraordinary world which shows us the richness and poetry of Arabian life in the Middle Ages. Down these alleys covered with trellises to protect us from the sun are the souks, one after another, sometimes narrow, sometimes large. The passages are crowded with counters of pottery, Eastern spices, rolls of silk. All roads lead to Rome, in this case, Nigerine Square, where the carpenters congregate. Look at the mosaic fountain with its charming sculptures and its cedar roof with green tiles. It will give you a preliminary idea of the beauties of the Bata Palace, the marble fountains with trickling water, the paved walks across the garden, the lacy arches of its gateway give the palace extraordinary elegance. Some of the stone motifs are reproduced in Moroccan leather and in copper. These fearsome daggers will remind you of the dashing 19th century paintings of Delacroix. Most celebrations in Morocco begin with the traditional méchoui. An entire lamb is roasted on a spit, hung vertically in an oven made of earth. These ovens are carefully sealed. For several hours, the heat will remain even, and the meat, rubbed with aromatic herbs, will slowly roast. In the meantime, you can attend another extraordinary Moroccan ceremony, a fantasia. This is a cavalry show. Winston Churchill, who recently saw one, was moved to tears. At a signal from their chief, the riders dash forward. They gallop fast, frantically. They hurl their cries of victory, punctuated by gunshots. Now our méchoui is ready. The guests will take appreciative bites under the cool shade of palm trees. This particular méchoui is held during a difa which brings together the chief notables of the locality. A few miles away is Moulay Idris, stretching on the slopes of a mountain half hidden in the foliage. This is the shrine of Morocco's most venerated saint. Close by is Volubilis, a happy combination of Arabian arabesques and the geometric planning of Western architecture. A few columns, a few tiles. The majestic Arch of Triumph built by Caracalla remind you of the glory and the power of ancient Rome. Further to the north, in the heart of the Rift Mountains, stands Chichaouen. Houses with colored tile roofs like Andalusia, minarets, charming squares, narrow streets with staircases running up and down the hills, all go to give Chichaouen its unique and attractive personality. Tangier, fascinating city on the African shore of the Straits of Gibraltar. A palm-fringed avenue runs along the beach. Its soft sand, the sunlight, the limpid water are all highly appreciated. For lunch, you'll go to one of the luxurious hotels, or perhaps you'll do a little gambling in the casino. If you enjoy tea, the exquisite mint tea will be at the Hotel El Minza. It will be prepared on a table before you, according to the strict rules of the ancient art. But it is time to think of returning home. One last glance at the picturesque market of the great Soko. One last glimpse of the town from the heights of the Kasbah. And it's goodbye Morocco, goodbye Tangier. The Air France plane is flying you away. During the supremely comfortable and restful flight, you can recount the memories of your enchanted